Well, it says we're live.
Yeah, lies. Also, we are Cedar deprived currently. I'm assuming she's probably out front talking to somebody. But um, if you want to support us, if you want to keep, well,
Buy the life rafts.
yeah,
We need them.
we need to supply with scuba gear right now. So donate here. Also, if you've donated in the past, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Um, thank you a lot. If you like coffee, talk to these guys. Apparently, they're having a sale right now. So if you like King Horse coffee, they're having a sale. Be sure you let them know you heard about it here. Take advantage of the sale, guys.
Yeah.
You like smart ass t-shirts? Who doesn't? tinyurl.com among the leaves tees. Smart ass t-shirts to your heart content.
Yeah. As of this morning, prior to the inch of rain we got, we were at 17 inches for the year thus far, which is 7 inches higher than normal.
Well, didn't the Farmer's Almanac call for a wet spring?
Yes.
And Noah was like, Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hot, dry spring.
Yeah.
Not so far.
Farmer's Almanac is loved by many for reasons.
Yeah.
They tend to be very, very accurate. We have had a shit ton of rain.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Literally another inch this morning and more coming. We needed it because we basically have been in a stage 1 drought for over a year.
I'm hoping that it's filling up the lakes before summer gets here.
Yeah.
Rita's not here. I am batching it for a week, or Sunday anyway. So I doubled up on the melatonin gummies last night, because I don't sleep well when she's not here. I doubled up on melatonin gummies. I was sleeping fairly well, and then at 3:17 this morning, lightning went off right overhead, and the dogs went, and I was awake because while the melatonin gummies will put you to sleep, if you wake up after taking them, they don't put you back to sleep.
Minor problem. Yes,
yeah, no
we
kidding.
have them.
No kidding. Before we get started, I would like to thank everybody who has donated to the Ko-fi thing, or has bought subscriptions to the Substack. Thank you very much. Seriously, thank you very much.
I have 2 paid subscribers now.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
See?
God
bless you.
Tom.
Tom.
Louisville PD.
Oh dear.
Has dropped all charges against Scotty Scheffler, the professional golfer.
Goodness.
Yeah. Because the officer that arrested him did not have a body camera on. However, there was an ESPN reporter in the car behind who filmed everything.
Uh-oh.
And amazingly enough, the 2 stories do not match.
No.
So, yeah. They basically said, just go away. We'll drop it.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The interesting thing, that's not the first body camera issue we've had.
No.
The ATF has a thing that when they're conducting raids, that everybody should have a body cam turned on.
Yeah.
And the last 2 ATF raids where they shot somebody
didn't have a body cam.
No, nobody had a body cam.
Yep.
Despite the fact that it's in the regs.
Yeah, supposedly, yes, Liz. Supposedly, I had a new book come out on Audible today. However, they haven't bothered to notify me, so I'm not sure which one it was. Speaking of books coming out,
Hooves, Tracks, and Sabers went live today. Already in top 10-ish somewhere. I've been busy cussing the people that sold me a car this morning, so
yeah.
I'm kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, the other one that we've got, our friend Larry Lambert has got a new one out called The Shorts, a selection of short stories. And it's actually in 2 sections, and these are shorts. Marked as fiction, nonfiction, or based on a true story. And the topics vary between espionage, science fiction, historical fiction, and true crime. The second section, which is really interesting, is 7 nonfiction case studies of police informers under the general theme of how to make money by being a government informant.
Apparently snitches cash paychecks.
They finally got Sunset out. Yay! That's the last one in the Gray Man series. So, if you're interested in, what's the best way to put this? Stories from people that have been there. Larry has been there and done that,
Yes.
both on the law enforcement side and on the military side.
Yes.
And he's still doing interesting things.
I'm just running a publishing house, and that's interesting enough.
Well, the fun part with Larry's stuff is if you know Larry and have read Larry's books, is figuring out which short story goes with which novel and who he's referencing in the short stories.
In other Second Amendment related news, somebody in New York, and my meds are still out of whack, so my memory is iffy right now. Somebody in New York, a government official in New York, was using the threats of legal action or fines to to prevent people from buying or selling or advertising guns, something involving guns and the threat of some illegal government action. Well, NRA, I think, NRA. Anyway, so NRA sued, went to the Second Circuit Court, who said that they didn't have a case. It's a Cedar! So the Supreme Court got it.
Yeah.
And in something that just tickles the cockroaches of my heart, in a 9-0 response authored by Sotomayor, they were told, no, that's a First Amendment violation. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Send it back to Second Circuit saying, fix this. And the potatoes announced that the decision from the Supreme Court, and I did mention 9-0 and authored by Sotomayor.
Yeah.
The potatoes announced that the decision was due to the far right wing of the Supreme Court.
Yeah. 9-0.
I had seen that there was a 9-0 authored by Sotomayor, but I didn't see what the decision was.
Yeah.
Decision was that, oh, hell no, the government cannot use the threat of punitive action to prevent people from advertising stuff.
Yeah. They were talking about debanking them.
Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, Canada did that with the truckers.
It's Canada.
Well, I know, but I mean, Canada's slide to tyranny should not be a model for what the American government
They're in free fall. Whee!
Yeah,
they just haven't pulled the ripcord yet.
What's the dive move with all the loops and, and flourishes?
Yeah. We have a new ad for you for your artistic talents.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Possum, the meat that keeps coming back from the dead, brought to you by Spurgle Meat Packing.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. Actually brought to you by Spurgle Meat, open quote, repacking.
Repacking company.
Well, I needed some art prompts for June because I need to get my drawing hand back in action. Yeah. So I will make a note of that.
Yeah.
Rita had one again. Hang on a sec, folks. My memory currently crap because meds way off. Rita had one. Thinking adverts.
Yeah, now known as Kanukistan. Yes.
Yeah, Canada's been disappointing. I mean, I never thought that Canada was U.S. light, but some of the stuff that they have pulled recently with the truckers and Jordan Peterson and
Rick wants a copy because he was the one that came up with
it. We can probably make that happen.
Blaze of Glory Cemetery Services. We'll smoke them if you got them.
Yes, I remember that one. That was definitely a.
She called and started giggling before she could get that out. And me and John were sitting here trying to get it out of her through the giggles.
Yeah.
It's always fun when you're to the point where you're giggling too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, America's hat needs a reblocking. You think? Yes.
Yes.
Speaking of, we were talking about the water earlier.
Yeah.
And since we have somebody that regularly reports, what's the rain situation like?
Let's see. We got over a half an inch of rain in 10 minutes this morning. Because it started right before I was going to check. My rain gauge is supposed to be checked at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
on the dot every morning so that we have nice, even reporting. Well, at 6:56, it started to come down. And I'm like, I don't have gills, so I'm going to wait until it eases up a little bit and then report the data
Yeah.
for the actual time of start and
Yeah.
the time that I checked.
Crank, 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 crank. Goggles.
And at 7:07, I was able to step out and still get quite wet. It was still coming down, but it had stopped coming down like a cow on a flat rock. And we had gotten 0.59 inches in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I checked mine a while ago when I got home.
yeah.
And we got an inch this morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was 0.59 was when I checked it, and then I put it back out. So
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it later because it's been raining off and on since.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I was literally standing in the garage looking out at the rain coming down
Yeah.
off the new roof because they put the new roof on yesterday.
Woohoo!
And I
Hey.
wanted to see how the shed, if it was different, because
You were
the
shedding water.
shingles look different
Yeah.
than the flats that were on there before. And I'm literally standing there and watching the water come into the garage. There's a drain.
Yeah.
But it's flat enough that everything just backs up and then
Yeah.
it comes in the garage. And you can tell they designed the garage that they knew this was happening.
Yeah.
Because of the way the concrete footings are.
Yeah.
But it's like, ah.
Yes. Hence the beg for life rafts.
We might need to get Cedar digital rain gauge.
No, those are not accurate enough.
All right. Instead
No,
of
I actually have a very specific certified rain gauge, and I have to use that.
instead of the digital rain gauge, get her scuba gear.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh look, half an inch. Back to the house.
This is not the last couple of years since we bought the house.
Yeah.
It's been so dry, and I've been trying to keep the garden alive. Well,
Yeah.
this year I'm losing things to drowning.
Well,
Lost 2 peach trees and a salvia so far
Yeah.
to drowning.
Oh, peach
So
trees.
I'll replant the peaches somewhere that it's less clay.
differs I feel for y'all. I know y'all have been needing rain badly out there and not getting it. But if the damn dry line keeps moving further west, which is now moved about 40 miles west of us, which is not good. It
Well,
may keep going all the way to New Mexico.
I expect it to swing back and come back over.
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't expect.
We
it to
were
stay.
talking earlier. We were giggling because the winter of this last winter before 2023, last month of 2023, braining. The Farmer's Almanac turned out its prognostications
Yeah.
and called for a cool, wet spring.
It's Stanford. It's
Oh,
he was
cool, wet
me.
spring. And the NOAA was going, no,
Yeah.
no. Global warming, hot, dry. Well, I'm growing fungus in the house.
Oh, Sanford.
Hello, Sanford.
Yeah, so the weather's been interesting. Got really interesting down in Pensacola here a week or so ago. They have just gotten a brand new helicopter at Whiting Field to do training for the pilots. And 41 of them got hit by the winds. 80 mile an hour gust of wind.
Oof. They went over like dominoes.
They didn't, well, there's no reported blowovers, but these are helicopters. So rotor damage and rotor head damage.
They're delicate little things.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing when the rotor is active and spinning,
Mm-hmm.
it can handle 80 knots of wind. When it's sitting parked, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a Class A incident,
Well,
and they're estimating somewhere around $5 to $7 million to repair.
Oh, wow.
Well, the problem is they don't have enough. Granted, it's a training command, okay? They don't have enough pilots to fly all the helicopters out,
Mhm.
nor do they know which direction to fly them because of the weather. And so they basically park them time down as well as they can and hope to hell nothing goes on. A couple of years ago in Norfolk, they had the CH-53s blow over.
Interesting.
So yeah, weather does impact aircraft and helicopters very, very strangely on the ground. Also in the oh shit news, they lost another MQ-9 Reaper over in Yemen.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, it's the fourth one they've lost over there. So
I knew about the other three.
huh?
I knew about the other three.
So the Houthis have obviously figured something out.
Also, it depends who's flying the Reapers too.
Yeah, well, these are people that supposedly know what they're doing.
Military people that know what they're doing.
Well, not necessarily military. They may be from other organizations.
No.
Three-letter people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's rare. The military people who know what they're doing.
Okay, whatever.
Is there a CIA guy? Well, there's your problem.
Christians in actions were not aware of.
Don't get me started.
OGA.
Do not get me started on Christians in action.
Why not? Everybody else feels about the same.
Oh no.
I'm sitting here thinking that really some sardonically sensed missionary should really start an organization called Christians in Action.
There actually is one.
There is one.
There is
Yeah.
one.
And it's not a CIA cover.
Nobody said that.
Ted, if you're coming down tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, I would suggest one of those auto cars that's a car and a boat combined.
Hovercraft.
Yeah.
So hovercraft, so you don't have to worry about it.
Ted, while you're at our house, we do have an extra covered parking space. So, I mean, I can't promise anything for the hotel. But
Risa, where's my story?
Hey, Teresa.
Risa, show me a story.
Rick, there actually Augusta is having to do the maintenance because they are the manufacturer of the helicopters.
I actually looked at Goblin Market, and I swear to God that I'd get one from somebody with goats in Tennessee, but we didn't, and I almost cried.
We're not doing a goat anthology because I can only imagine what we would get.
I think I'm going to go cry at her. I'll make the sad face at her at LibertyCon.
You do puppy dog eyes quite well.
The maintenance on Represent Country. That's being done by the military.
Goats and turbans, or why are goats so sad?
No.
Because they're goats.
So,
And which kind of turbines are you talking about? INEs or
I figured I
ANs?
would get a aviation expert to take a look at the art that I've been working on.
Okay.
Oh, are you sure you want to do this?
No, I'm not sure I want to do that.
Teresa says we should absolutely do a goat anthology.
Between Teresa, myself, Bookera Brumley, yeah, I can think of a few people that we could have some fun with. I wrote a chicken story for Bookera's chicken anthology. Okay.
We had goats in Nigeria. We had a red Hausa buck that kept winding up on the roof.
Yeah, it's a goat.
There's no way for him to get there.
That's all right. We were going down 287 today, headed for town, and there were 3 goats in the bar ditch off to the other side of where I happen to know that they live.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk. We had Butterball, who was Butterbur. Butterbur was a female mutt goat who wound up pregnant 3 times with no possible way to get pregnant.
It's a goat.
Yeah, right. We had a paddock built for her in the backyard that my dad might have put up to prevent us from digging another tiger trap.
I have seen a
Goats.
pregnant doe who delivered twins or triplets, can't recall which, the next day, clear a 6-foot fence from a standing jump. she's standing on one side of the fence 1 minute, and the next minute she's over in the backyard with us because we were having a barbecue and we hadn't brought her over.
Goat stories from Kandahar may not be family friendly. You think?
No.
Get Beth and John to write goat stories for you.
Yes, the Donovans would be. That would be a fun.
But
one
we
to
just-
have goat stories. From.
We had this lovely paddock, and we actually built her a condo. We called it the goat condo. It was, Dad got his engineering, and he built. I mean, it was raised, it was pier and beam, it was beautiful. And we had this lovely paddock that was allegedly, no way that Butterbur could get out of that paddock. 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, one hole in the fence was a bit too large.
Well, it was, if I remember right, it was 2x8s. It was 4x4s with 2x8s. And there was enough room that we could get our little bitty fingers in there and climb up. And it was tall enough that Dad had to stand on either the first or second rail to look in.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but goats can climb quite well.
Apparently.
So if it was climbable by you guys, then it was perfectly climbable by a buck to be able to get in and
Have
out.
you ever seen the
at
pictures
his
of the
leisure.
goats on the side of the mountain?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But
No, Effendi, we ride the goat into town.
a goat and an onion, but he's going to need a ride back. But no, it's they weren't getting in there, but that hussy was getting out somehow.
She was probably climbing out.
You don't ride goats, you hook them to a chariot. Ask Thor.
Yeah. At 3:17 this morning, Thor hit a cobblestone. I was telling them I was 2 gummies deep because Rita's not here. I don't sleep well, so I doubled up on my on the melatonin gummies. And apparently, melatonin will put you to sleep, but if you get woken up under melatonin, it will not put you back to sleep.
No.
So there I am, sleeping the sleep of, well, okay people. And right overhead at 3:17 this morning, crack a foam. And both dachshunds went, and I sat straight up.
Well,
Yeah,
I
they-
heard that one.
Yeah, early in the first go around, they were using goats to draw some hour strikes, but the differentiation got good enough about 2005 that they could actually tell, no, that's a goat.
I like
We're
goats.
not going to wait. We're not going to waste around on that.
I like goats.
Yeah.
I don't like sheep. Sheep are stupid.
It
No,
really
they're
depends on the sheep.
stupid.
It really depends on the sheep.
Every sheep I've had to deal with is stupid.
Well, the stupidity level is sheep, cows, goats, and horses.
Now, Butterbur was smart enough to go get pregnant on the regular. And Holly, that red Haza goat, that boy was smart. That goat was scary smart. Pretty sure he got up on the roof so he could make astronomical observations. Pretty sure that smart goat. Really, it's smart as a German Shepherd, which is not saying a whole hell of a lot. But Smith, he was a smart goat. Sheep, dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. Dumb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sheep are the 100% stupidest animals ever. Yeah.
No, they're dachshunds and chihuahuas.
Now they are smarter than sheep. They will not purposely walk into a pond and drown themselves like a sheep will.
Or walk into a hot wire, jump 6 feet straight up, turn around, run in circles, and then 30 seconds later walk into the same hot wire again.
Yeah.
And
It's
Chris-
the same place.
same place. Chris and I stood there for an hour watching these 2 sheep walk into the hot wire over and over and over again.
Eventually they'll take the battery down and then they can go through.
Oh no.
Now, Sean B, y'all are blessed in 2 ways. One, that you missed LibertyCon, and 2, you have a healthy baby, even if it is sick right now.
Babies are good.
Babies are good as long as you can fill them full of sugar and give them back.
Oh yeah. Rita and I don't have any for
And
a
somebody else
reason.
has to take care of waste disposal.
I am finally past the stage where I need to worry about all of that.
Until you become a grandmother, and then it starts all over.
The chances of that are
Much better than she is willing to admit.
Don't kink shame the sheep. Somebody's back to sending me monkey videos. What the hell?
because they know
because
it
they
riles
can.
you.
So after reading the story about how much you love to trade with monkeys,
Microsoft and I are going to have words. I'm just not sure how, but we're going to have words about that one. For those of you who are here that weren't here on Tuesday, Microsoft AI decided to write a story about me and mischievous monkeys and how we like to trade and tell stories, and then told the world and random people that I wrote it and put it in my book.
Oh, that was funny.
Microsoft and I are going to have words.
nobody that read your book would believe that because
Nope.
there were no Zulus with spears chucking them at the monkey.
Well, like I said, anybody that knows me, if I write a story and it doesn't end up with monkey parts raining down from the sky, it wasn't me.
Yes, Joel, that always happens. The baby will be crying, holding a belly, grabbing an ear or something. As soon as you get in with the damn doctor, they're all peachy keen, smiling and laughing, and not grabbing anything.
Oh, dachshunds.
Yeah.
Dachshunds do the same thing. Mochi will be screaming, squalling, and limping, and you get her to the very expensive vet, and she's fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn
Well,
dog.
she doesn't want shots any more than you do.
Yeah, point. And they've learned to get out the hockey mask, the goalie mask, and the gloves when it's time to take her temperature.
Oh dear. You'd think they'd come up with a better way.
Mochi does not like having her temperature taken.
Where did that damn ballpoint pen go?
No, but seriously, it's like that the Open Chat GPT or whatever it's called, Open AI, seriously wrote a story and then claimed that it was a story I wrote about mischievous monkeys
In your book. No
yeah,
less.
and that it was in my book.
And published.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I think most people understand that the AI hallucinates.
Monkey parts weren't raining down from the sky.
The AIs are on a bad trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said
Well, considering AIs are neither artificial nor intelligent.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I have not looked into how they're training the text AIs. I know how the art AIs create from noise, from Gaussian noise. And I understand, I mean, I do not grok the math behind it, but I understand the pathways of how the artwork is created. Text, if it's done in the same way, you're not going to get stuff that is based in reality, because that's kind of the point of the training system, is so that it doesn't replicate what's based in reality.
But it is replicating. That's the problem.
Well,
it's an LLM. All it's doing is doing a scrape and a word count.
No, because if it's trained the same way that art does, it's not
But that's the problem. It's not.
doing a copy paste. Well, and that's why I'm saying I don't know how they train the text ones. I only know the art.
Yeah.
Because the art ones don't do a copy paste. So that's why I'm looking at the text ones going, they have to be doing that differently if they want it to be based in reality.
They're doing a word count and they're doing a percentage utilization.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people
That's a standard algorithm.
I keep telling people I don't mind the fact that it wrote story. If it had written a story in the style of Law Dog, that'd be fine. Don't mind, don't care about that. It wasn't in my style,
I
but
was
whatever.
going to say.
Thank you, Rick.
What in my style?
Statistical text analysis.
All right, thank you, Rick. That makes much more sense
What-
to me.
That's what I was trying to get to. I
What-
just couldn't remember the damn term.
What pisses me off, and I don't think you'll understand how pissed off it makes me, is it claiming I wrote it.
And it's something that you would not
And
have
they-
under any circumstance.
And
written.
the AI claimed it was out of one of my books.
Mhm.
That's what pisses me off.
Oh, they
This
did.
is-
They didn't just give them Reddit. Contrary to popular opinion, they basically went through Amazon's library.
Not well,
Not well.
because I'm in Amazon's library.
Yeah.
And for the
They didn't have to give them Amazon's library. They've got the Internet Archive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times has the Internet Archive been sued for improper use of copyright materials?
well,
Oh, yeah.
and guarantee you that they probably went through what's that?
Not to mention all the pirate sites that
Yeah.
are out there.
What's
Yeah.
that? There's the Google, or that there's a site that does all of the out of
Project Gutenberg.
Gutenberg.
Gutenberg. Yeah.
I mean, Project Gutenberg, I don't have a problem with. That's all public domain stuff. That's what they should be training the
Yeah.
AIs on,
Yeah.
because they've got a massive material there in literature. And frankly, mostly, I can't say this, it's not entirely good literature,
Yeah.
No.
but it is, I mean, it does contain the world's classics.
Yeah.
So if you're going to train the AI on text-based analysis, then Project Gutenberg's not a bad place
No.
to start.
But if you use Project Gutenberg, then you'll get things like Poe's Murder in the Rue Morgue, which has a monkey that's evil.
Yeah.
And, monkeys
nor-
are
a-
good. That's
a normal
the
monkey.
liberal mindset.
Yeah.
A normal monkey.
Yeah.
I think you would not have been as offended had it returned with the basic, a ripoff of the Murder in the Rue Morgue as the Law Dog wrote this kind of thing.
Yeah, I have to admit the whole
It was the whole Curious George thing that was just
gentle, mischievous monkey that really
That was
set
your
the
friend.
Yeah.
really set the fox in the hen house, because
Yeah. Rick has been watching this stuff for what he does.
Yeah.
Says it's specifically trained and retraining LLM to get it to correct. First pass through was 2% correct.
Mhm.
Many passes later, 90% correct.
Yeah, which is still not 100% correct.
No.
But it's like even the art AI. I've been working with Midjourney for close to 2 years now,
Yeah.
coming up on 2 years, and I have generated, because we were talking about this the other day with a bunch of us that do it, and I've generated close to 17,000 images.
Yeah.
And there's a rating system when you generate an image. You can tell it if you liked it or
Yeah.
not. So I've literally been training the model
Yeah.
to do what I want it to do. And we had a instance of this morning in a conversation. Sarah Hoyt was trying to generate a monk.
Yeah.
And it kept coming up with what looked like Chinese woodblock.
Yeah.
With a monk in a conical hat. And she's like, that's not what I want. And I didn't tell her, but I was thinking, that's probably what you've trained it for if
Yeah.
you've recently been doing a lot of Chinese or Japanese style art, and then you ask it to do something else, it gets confused because
She should have asked for a
Later,
Franciscan
Issa.
or Jesuit.
that would do the trick.
Take care, Teresa, and turn your story in so I don't have to listen to it.
Well,
Bitching.
it's like me right now. I'm trying to create a book cover that has an authentic
I'm a Sierra
airplane
Liberty
on
calling.
it.
Yeah.
And
Rivet counters.
well, and so what I've done is I started with asking the AI to give me something very, very specific, and now I'm overpainting to
Yeah.
correct the errors.
So which Sherman do you use? The
Or-
cast one or the riveted one?
Or in this case, with this particular aircraft, which I showed you a minute ago, I get really irritated with it this morning, so I painted an explosion and fire coming out of its nose because it was I'm punching it in the face.
she's doing a cover for the World War II alternate history anthem we're doing with James Young, and he's very, very specific about rivet counters.
because he's right. I mean, the
Yeah.
readers of this will. It doesn't matter that it's alternate history.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
art
no.
on the cover cannot be fictional.
It's an alternate B-17. Suck it up. But no,
Well, it wouldn't be a B-17 in this case. I'm working on it for B-29 images. So if I come up with a B-17, I've gone wrong.
it's an alternate B-29 then.
You're
That's-
my wife. You've gone wrong years ago.
That's the thing about it. I was in our chat. I was mentioning that I'm a gun person. I am a gun nut. Guns.
I think most of them remember what happened when I showed you that Nero Wolf cover.
Guns. And my thing is the cover that we did for Pinup Noir, all of them,
Mhm.
the guns are terrible, and I don't care.
Well, and some of that was deliberate. I mean, some of those I did go in and repaint or edit. But because pinup noir incorporated science fiction and fantasy,
Yeah.
future, historical, all kinds of a mishmash of it just had to be pinup and noir.
Mhm.
So I was not terribly concerned
Nope,
about
and it
making
didn't bother
sure.
me.
Yeah.
But so here we
Alternate
are.
history, on the other hand, is a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah. It's like it's alternate history. It's a case of, oh, look, there were tanks at Normandy. But by God, don't get the wrong number of rivets on the B-29.
Well, which is why I go back to the Mark IV, the Sherman tank.
Mm-hmm.
Which version?
Right.
The cast one or the riveted one?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both Shermans.
Well, whichever one you've got the pulse laser mounted on the turret.
There is a guy in Virginia that has one of each.
Pulse lasers?
No, two Shermans.
I was going to say.
And he parks them side by side
Mm-hmm.
and then just stands there and laughs
Uh-huh. I can imagine that.
because people start arguing. And one of them was actually built by Cadillac.
And this is the thing too, which is that anytime you're talking about experimental models, or test models or prototypes, you're going to have a deviation from the standard anyway.
Yeah.
So I think if I can get fairly close with what I'm painting,
Yeah.
I should be fine. But I also know that I don't want to tick readers off.
Yeah.
And have them reject the book just because what's on the cover doesn't fit their perception of what it should be.
Well, that's
a balancing act.
that's like one of the things different manufacturers make a difference too.
Yeah.
During World War II, I think everybody except for maybe Walt Disney produced an M2
Yeah.
Browning.
Yeah.
From what I understand, Singer sewing machines
Singer did, yeah.
produced the best ones.
They also built the best 1911s.
Yeah. Well, Singer's level of quality control is evident. I mean, I've sewn with an 1898 Singer sewing machine.
Still works, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it works
Yeah.
beautifully. I'm just sad I no longer own that machine,
Yeah.
but so it doesn't surprise me at all because they had a very demanding audience.
Yeah.
Of women who were sewing everything.
Yeah.
For their entire family and sometimes for a living. And so the sewing machine had to be right, or you were getting an irate lady.
Who would not would show up at the factory and have words with somebody
Mm-hmm.
and probably had a pistol in her pocket.
Maybe made by Singer.
Yeah.
Later on down the road, yes, yes. But I mean, even so, it's just one of those things of consumer demand.
Yeah.
Will shape a company's what they can and can't do. I mean, nowadays it's different.
Yeah.
Nowadays you got companies that churn out crap. They get enough bad reviews, they close up shop and then open with a new website with a different spelling of their name.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But it used to be that if people thought you were turning out shoddy stuff, you went belly up.
Yeah. Or like LG, is it LG or Samsung on the refrigerators?
All I know is I got a high sense this last time, and I'm not thrilled.
That they have a known bad issue with it.
Mm-hmm. And I avoided buying either an LG or a Samsung this last time, and the one we went with, the ice maker, worked once.
Yeah.
Well,
So what they do is they know it's going to last long enough to get through the warranty period.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
So
That's
they
all I
don't
care
fix
about.
it.
that's all I
Yep.
care about.
So then when it fails after the warranty period
Mm-hmm.
and you call in to get it fixed,
No, so sorry.
no, they'll come fix it for
no.
more than what it would cost to buy a brand new refrigerator.
Yeah. Well,
So it's planned obsolescence.
yeah, and the fridge that I bought cheap when we first moved into the house was an old Maytag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had to have been at least 40 years old. And it was still
Chugging along.
chugging along.
Yeah.
The compressor started to make weird noises. That was why I was like, all right, it's
Yeah.
time to.
Well,
Kind of
that and the
replace
fact that I
that.
hated the layout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the side-by-side narrow
Yeah.
things, and they're a pain in the butt. But it's, I mean, chances are, had I decided I was going to pull apart and rebuild the compressor, which is not really my thing, but it probably, had I gone and found a repairman for
Yeah.
it, the Maytag repairman finally having a job.
The copper was
20
fine,
years
damn it.
later.
Yeah.
There's I actually saw. I briefly popped on Facebook to do my memories, and I bail. That's what I've been doing these days, is hitting memories and bailing. But there was an ad for a guy that buys 1950s to 1960s era refrigerators from junkyards,
Yeah.
rebuilds them, and sells them. And he's making a
Mid-century modern is
Yeah.
highly collectible right now. There's actually companies that are making brand new refrigerators and ranges, and in that old school style, what they call the atomic,
Yeah.
with the curves and the
But
colors.
they're pieces of shit.
Well, I'm sure they're pieces of shit. They're also hideously
Yeah.
expensive, because I actually did look at them because I was like, "Oh, that's cute."
well. This guy
Go buy one of the real thing and bring it forward.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, I know.
this guy he's getting the 1950s, 1960s.
Yeah.
And he's rebuilding washing
Mhm.
machines and refrigerators, rebuilding them to spec.
Yep.
And people are paying through the sinuses for them.
Yes.
I
yes.
had my mother's toaster was over 50 years old before it finally died.
Mhm.
50 years that toaster worked.
Yep.
Okay, how did it die? Didn't just repair it.
Probably wore flat out somewhere.
Yeah, the one of the springs
Hmm.
finally broke.
Yeah.
Oh, you were go buy another spring.
You
Couldn't
can't.
find one.
That's the thing, is you can't find parts.
Yeah.
It's like I would replace the racks in the dishwasher we have, and well, okay, at this point also the dishwasher, the control panel is
Yeah.
plastic and it's busting up, but I was trying to buy racks for the inside of that dishwasher
Yeah.
when we first moved in. And the dishwasher was installed in, I think, 1981.
Yeah.
And the only racks that I could find was a sketchy looking listing on eBay for $250. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to replace the dishwasher, but I've been putting it off as long as I can because this one works.
Yeah. So in the
What-
10 years since my mother's toaster finally died, I've gone through 5 toasters
Hmm.
in 10 years.
Yeah.
We
My uncle's beer fridge is from 58. Yep.
There you go.
one
Keep
of
it going.
one of the things that Rita and I have to have, absolutely positively have to have, is an electric kettle. If we're in a house, we have to have an electric kettle. I think it's more me than her, but don't quote me on that. And we've just kind of where did you find it?
So my Roomba pushed it out from underneath my couch.
So Cedar found the. Remember Tuesday I was talking about my light. Cedar found the one I lost.
That was this morning.
So tell you what,
Light.
you now have a decent light.
Well, I have
Oh,
I have a backup.
oh, so we just every 2 years we have to buy a new electric kettle.
Yeah.
And I remember electric kettles are relatively new to Americans. They're not overseas. And the electric kettles overseas are 220 volt.
Mhm.
And I can remember getting an electric kettle when we moved to Nigeria. And giving it to the next person a decade later,
Yeah.
and it was still just as good as when we got it. And
Richard
now
says-
every 2 years we're having to buy another electric kettle.
Yeah. Richard says his brother has the grandmother's Frigidaire top open freezer still working after 70 plus years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Well,
You defrost them on a regular basis and they'll run forever.
right, and I feel kind of bad because I want to replace the dishwasher, which still works, but it was 1980s, and I think had it actually been 10 years older, I would be trying to nurse that thing along.
Yeah.
But it's got the plastic panel over the display, which
Yeah.
is shattering,
Mm-hmm.
and the range it is also 1980s, and it is a Sears range, which in theory should be a nice quality thing. However, it heats unevenly,
Yeah.
and
Is it electric?
it's electric,
Hmm.
because I can't have gas
Right.
range because we don't know if we've got the right gas plumbing, and we would have to put in a vent, which we actually talked to the roofing guys about but
Yeah.
because I didn't already have it installed, they couldn't help me with it.
Yeah.
Um,
Rick, the only problem
But-
with that, once he had to put a 220-volt install in the kitchen,
I'd
he'd have to
love
rewire the entire house.
I would
Yes.
love to.
Oh, just hook off the dryer hookup. That should be 220.
It's 440.
Oh, you could split that.
Not
that's
in-
not how that works. though.
Not in our house, you can't, because remembering we've got the house that's got 60 volts running through the ground.
Which I found the hard way.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you
Oh,
very
kidding.
much.
goodness.
And you have to flip 2 switches on the circuit breaker in order to shut down one circuit.
Yeah.
Which 2 switches you got to figure out?
Lovely.
As when we were redoing the dining room,
Hmm.
we Rita wants beadboard. So what Rita wants, Rita gets. So this is after I had put a multimeter into the ground on the and found 60 volts. So I feeling dumb, and I turned off the circuit to the living room or to the dining room,
You thought.
and I'm on a baker scaffold. And I'm taking the light ceiling fan combination and touched a wire and found myself on the floor.
Oh. So this is why I don't really
Yes.
want to.
Yes,
do-
Brian, he really does have 60 volts
Yeah.
on the ground.
Damn sure do.
I can vouch for it.
This is why I don't want to ever mess with electricity.
Yeah.
I will hire someone to come in and
We
deal with that.
we are in a house that literally was built over 100 years ago from a Sears catalog.
Wiring by Escher, installed by cheapest bidder.
No kidding. So we're in a house that's literally over 100 years old, built. It's a Sears kit home
Yeah.
that showed up on a train and was hauled to location and built.
Fortunately, you aren't far from the tracks.
Yeah, right. And then it has been owned, resided in by people who consider themselves to be handymen.
Well, the real question is, was there an electrician even involved when it was put together?
Oh no,
Probably not.
no, that the wiring in there is not that is an aftermarket wiring job.
Yes.
In several stages, done by handymen. Yeah. Yep, there's 60 volts going through the you touch a multimeter to the ground in there and 60 volts. The plumbing has been redone by handymen.
Yeah, Todd, there are a lot of questions in that house surrounding not only the electrical, but the plumbing and other things.
And everything about that house is sketchy as
Yeah.
I mean, I will grump about our house, but the guy that was working on it mostly knew what he was
Yeah.
doing and installed some handy little features. The fact that the range is a built-in range, not a slide-in, is going to be annoying when I replace it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to cut part of a cabinet out in order to put in the new one. And the cabinets are nice, real wood
Yeah.
cabinets. They
Oh, they're
spent
gorgeous.
some money on those
Yeah.
cabinets. But yeah, I'm going to lose quite a bit of cabinetry once we get the vent in.
Yeah, differ. The problem with stabbing copper pipes into the yard does not work well in sand.
And like I said, this thing was built.
In sand, what you have to do is actually bury a mesh, which gives you enough to ground,
Yeah.
to contact the ground. We had a problem with that in Florida as volunteer fire rescue. Brand new subdivision they built outside of Jacksonville, outside of Orange Park. And these were expensive homes back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept catching fire every time there was a lightning storm.
Goodness.
And, you know, we roll in and put the house out. It's like, this was also during the time period when it was 15% interest on a home loan. And of course, the $64 question was, is this because they don't want to pay the loan? Is this because they're trying to get out of the loan because they realize how much it's going to cost their ass, or what? And after about the 4th house, we got smart and brought in a fire marshal inspector from Jacksonville. And he went out and got to looking around and got to measuring. And he's going, these houses aren't grounded correctly. And it sat on top of a hill. He says, the lightning hits the house, it's going up. And we get to looking, and every house has got a grounding rod pounded down in there that you could pull out by hand.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. So they were driving the requisite 6-foot grounding rod
Mm-hmm.
down in sand, tying it off and going on.
Well, the our house was built sometime between 1904 and 1920.
Yeah.
And it was purchased from Sears, and it came up here on a flatbed.
Yep.
And then whoever built it threw it together. Their electricity in their prior to 1920, electricity in this area wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point in wiring a house because you didn't have anything to wire it to.
Yeah.
Or
So-
anything to run on it if you did have it wired.
When
Yeah.
when did you say that they got electricity done in Kentucky for your family? Was that 1950?
Some parts of it they're still electrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, there is actually a company that is using mules to carry telephone poles or electric poles and set them up in the hills back in parts of Kentucky.
Well, technically, according to TVA, that's all been done.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Not as a few years ago.
I know, but they claim it was all done.
So the wiring came much later, and you can see the original wiring, which they drilled holes through the rafters and put the insulator and then ran the cloth wrapped aluminum wire through them.
Yep.
But sometime in the past 20 years, no, 40 years, they installed a new circuit breaker box outside. It's just that when they did, like I said, you have to flip off 2 of the circuit breakers to shut down 1 circuit. Which 2? Roll the dice.
Yeah.
And then
Yes,
there's
we
our
have
house.
some ambient lighting varying because there's actually sun starting to peek out a little bit.
Yeah. Flickering in and out
Yeah.
behind the clouds. Now, our house has 2 circuit boxes. One's in the house, one's in the garage. Not entirely sure what they both do.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's a third one, but that one's out in the big shop, and I'm pretty sure it's just the shop.
Yeah. Well, I paid over $2,000 to have mine
Yeah.
upgraded, which then meant it had, because of the new housing regulations, had to be placed on an outside wall. So now if I want to go shut a circuit breaker off, I have to go outside to do it, even if it's raining.
And
Yeah, that's
and
mine.
Sanford actually turned down a house that we were going to go look at because as we were looking at listing photos, the circuit breaker was on outside of the house, and he was like, "Oh no!" So now to find out that that's what's required around
Yeah,
here
yeah.
makes me think, okay, well that was probably a relatively new install
Yep,
then.
Yep.
That's ours on the exterior of the house, and it's
Yeah.
a pain in the ass to get to because
Yeah.
it's right by the old well.
And okay, did that turn it off? Nope. Did that turn it off? Nope.
Yep.
That did it. You could do that from inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much from outside.
Well,
Sure,
if you're
you
on
just
your
have to
phone,
both
yeah.
have your cell phones. Yeah, exactly.
But I have one circuit that we could not find. No idea where in the hell that circuit goes to, what it goes to.
So, PSA for all of our lovely listeners: if you are buying a house and the current owners of the house, the sellers of the house, have a vehicle parked in the garage in such a way that you cannot access the circuit breaker box,
Yes.
that is a clue.
Yes.
The house that we bought in Ohio had every single circuit in the box double loaded.
Oh,
So they had used a 10 amp circuit breaker to run 20 amp circuits on.
And there was like 2 wires going into every single one.
oh, geez.
It was so overloaded. And I mean, we were flipping breakers constantly. And they had left this vehicle in this garage deliberately parked in such a way that our inspector couldn't get to the circuit box.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they
Oh,
were
yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
So it cost us $1,500 to have
Yeah.
somebody come in and rewire it. We got a big enough box that left space for additional things that might
Yeah.
be added later on down the road. Well, that house had been worked over by a flipper.
Yeah. Well, and the same
So-
thing that Tom was talking about with the aluminum wiring.
Yeah,
Huge
The
problem.
aluminum wire is
70s,
dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Well,
70s and 80s, you saw a lot of aluminum wiring.
well, another problem that's been, and it seems like every house I've owned, you have a triple switch on the wall.
Yeah.
2 of them do something.
Third one doesn't.
Third one? Who knows?
Yeah.
And it's not that I care that it doesn't do anything. I mean, I can ignore that.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what it did at one point. That's what bothers me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got one of those in the kitchen. If you're going out into the utility room, the middle switch, we have no idea.
One of these days, I'm going to find out that it turns on the transmitter to signal the aliens.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we had one in the bedroom. We had 2 doors going to the bedroom, one from the living room to the bedroom, one from the bedroom to the bathroom. And there's a light switch by the bathroom door and a light switch by the bedroom door. The light switch by the bathroom door has been yanked because something about the way they were set up, if you flipped one before the other, it facultated the whole thing.
Say what?
Yeah, there's something about it. Something about the wiring. If you flipped one had to be on, and you could use the other one as an on-off switch, but you couldn't use the one left on as on-off or something. It drove me nuts.
Oh, I've had switches like that, and then in the old farmhouse up in New England, we had one that there were 2 switches. I think it was going into the kitchen, and if you flipped one and then tried to use the other one, it didn't work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
And I don't know how they did that, but it was
Yeah, and
definitely
there's
a
always
thing.
my favorite switches, big round buttons that you have to push.
I love those
Yeah.
things. I love
Uh,
those things.
Well, the only thing about it is when you have to replace them
Yeah.
because they don't work anymore because
You can't find them.
No, they
No.
don't
Yeah.
make them anymore.
uh,
We had one like
Breaker box in a shower, bathroom next to a shower. No. Don't blame you for passing on
Oof.
that one.
well, I've seen
I thought I
wall sockets.
Yeah.
In showers.
Yeah. One time. Yeah.
mm,
I said seen, didn't say wanted to have anything to do with boys.
Yeah.
There's just some things when you walk into a house, you're looking at renting or buying, you see, and you turn around, you walk back out.
Rita has plans for her house, our house, and those plans include building something next door that we can live in while we tear that thing down to beams and rebuild it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean says 3/4 of the rooms in my house had their outlets and lights and fans on one 15-amp circuit with a soldered junction box taped
oh,
to a piece of
Lord.
wooden trim that was nailed in place.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, if you don't build a house and watch them build it,
Mhm.
you have no clue of what people are doing to you.
Yeah.
And
And-
sometimes they were built fine at the time they were built.
Yeah.
But if they were built for knob and tube wiring,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of, there's a housing development going in on Bell Road on the east side of town, between old 287 and US 287 on Bell Road. Some schmuck bought some ranch land and it's put in houses on the west side
Yeah.
of Bell Road. Jim and I and Rita watched one of them. It's the only 2-story in that development. They framed it out last year.
Yeah.
And then it started raining. And it was framed out with no roof for a month
In the rain.
in the rain and then in the wet or in the freezing. And they didn't put a roof on it or actually work on it until after the 19-degree weather was over with. And they didn't rip out all the framing they'd done. They just started slapping stuff on it.
Yeah.
And they can't figure out why they haven't sold it yet.
And Tiffany, oh God, bless you, girl, for putting up what you put up with.
Oh, Tiffany, that has been a saga.
Cut off extension cord wired into an outlet to the
Yep.
disposal.
Yep, I've seen similar things. Honestly, the house next to us is up for sale, and they're not asking much for it, but it's still more than it's
There's
worth.
a reason.
Yeah.
It's still more than it's worth. And Sanford and I were joking around that we should buy it. And tear it to the ground. Should spare anyone having to try and, because I mean, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Some Yahoo's going to buy it, flip it,
Yeah.
make it look nice on the outside, not actually fix any of the issues,
Yeah.
and then sell it for, well, okay, list it for 3 times what they paid for it.
Yeah.
The sell, well, we're starting to see the market go way slower than
Oh,
it used to
aren't
be.
we though? I have learned something. I personally, when we're looking at houses, we'll make a list, and if it's ever been flipped, it goes to the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Flipped houses are not worth. They're not worth the issues.
Yeah. And on that note, folks, we've wasted
Holy
another hour of
crap,
your
we
time.
have.
Yeah, chatty.
And once again, we were not positive today. We need to stop this shit.
Right.
I don't know. We were snarky.
Thank everybody. I would like to again, from the bottom of my heart, thank everybody who has donated to the Blanket Fort Fund or purchased a paid subscription to the Substack. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, Dawn, you have a nice house whenever you get in it.
I need to go up there. Really, I need to go up there and visit Dawn's new house.
It's nice.
You don't want to visit Don, just the house.
Well, she's going to be there. She's going to be there.
Tonight on Home Flip Fails. Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Send rain, damn it. I wish.
Differ if we could, we would. Trust us.
There should be a whole show following around after those stupid HGTV shows showing the.
Oh, you are in
terrible
it.
things.
Congratulations, Dawn. Laying on the couch.
Congratulations, Dawn.
Well, you know, and the one thing, the chat is what kicks us off half the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the amount of
Bounce off
knowledge
them.
that we have in the folks that are in the chat
Yep.
is
Oh.
absolutely amazing.
Is Nancy on here?
She was
Nancy
on
Fry?
earlier. I think she may have left.
Nancy, you on here? Taylor Anderson says hi.
Yeah.
I got into an hour-long conversation with Taylor yesterday, and he said to tell y'all hi, you and Gordon.
Yeah. And as usual, nobody likes us. Oh, well. Y'all have a good week. Be safe this weekend. And if you're in the path of the weather, don't be stupid.
Well, that lets out half the chat.
And it also lets us out.
Yeah, right.
Retract my last. Remember, don't pet the sweaty stuff. Don't sweat the petty stuff.
Y'all be safe.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
You realize the plans for Saturday dinner.
Who's doing